Since this time last year, I am down not 1 million, not 2 million, but $3 million. And, I'm down over $1 million in the chef. Over $1 million if you add up all my different accounts. As you're seeing there, basically lost everything in the stock. 200, that's $250,000. And then a much smaller position in my public account. This is my main private account, which obviously
everybody's muted.
What?
Well, yeah, it mutes you when the video starts, Cole.
But I was unmuted and y'all were still muted.
No, you were muted. Trust me.
No, I was muted during the video, but when it ended, I was not muted and y'all were muted.
Well, anyway, yeah, it takes a second to transition.
The point is, unlike a liberal, anyway, the point is, I've had my image and my name blurred. My voice has been altered for my protection. I'm here to report that Jeremy Lefebvre's Las Vegas house was raided this morning. They found over 2,000 bottles of baby lotion, and in his basement over 50 Haitian immigrants. He said it was his duty. Donald Trump ordered him to stop the invasion, and so he is now arrested. As I said, I'm not going to reveal my identity for my own protection. So what do y'all make of this breaking news?
Cole, I think you're full of shit.
But don't say my name.
I think.
Oh, too late.
I think you had a very interesting dream, and
have you been partaking of something, Cole?
Not today.
Oh, okay. So funny enough, this stream is about Jay Naugy Lives, right? But he's not here.
So we gaslit the whole thing. He's actually not.
Yeah, well, Fabio's driving to his house right now to check on him to see if he's okay.
Yeah.
Oh!
He is alive!
Yeah, sorry, dude. I went and got breakfast. Took longer than I thought it would.
Where the hell did you go?
Just to the
Miami?
restaurant next door to my house.
Oh. Was there a long line?
Yeah, there was a lot of people in there.
Well, we're glad to see you alive, Jay. Can you tell us about your hurricane experience?
Dude, it wasn't that bad. I just losing power sucked a bag of D's.
What's
That's
a bag
short,
of D's?
That's short for dicks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, no, dude, I think like wind gusts got up to like 85 miles an hour here.
Did you guys see footage of Asheville?
Oh yeah, it destroyed that place.
I heard it's only accessible through air, is what I've heard.
It might be, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's videos going around. There's this one video I watched where you can hear the sirens going off, and this dude is just recording as a flash flood comes down the mountain and slams into his house.
Dude, that's because I live in like a flood area of the coast.
Yeah.
If that thing had hit me, my house would probably be a couple inches deep in water.
Well, bro, that's what the majority of people don't die from, like wind related stuff. It's usually from the flooding.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, that terrifies me. That was one of the first things I found out. Like, am I in a floodplain here? And I'm not, so I don't really have to worry about it. But yeah, like some of the people at work that, like one guy lives on like Treasure Island. His house was like flooded up to the second story. He lost his car. His car like floated out to sea.
Oh my God. They're going to find it like 15 years later, like a ghost ship.
Yeah, sunk somewhere. But, and then another guy, he's got an apartment complex on the beach, and he's like on the second floor, but it flooded, basically up to where his second floor was. It's like 10 feet. So yeah, it's going to hit the second floor.
Yeah, an apartment I lived at 8 years ago. I just moved into my first apartment, and 2 weeks later, the entire like city flooded, and I was the only apartment on the first floor that didn't take on water. There was just a very slight curve in the parking lot, and it by like 1 centimeter didn't get into my apartment.
Dude, you must have been like, God, thank God I chose this apartment.
It was actually to be slightly scary. My parents are staying in North Carolina right now. I've not heard from them since Friday. I think it's just because the cell towers are down. But I will update y'all. They're not Nashville or anything. They're about 2 hours from it. I think it's just about power and stuff.
Yeah, you seem very stressed about that, Cole.
It's all good.
Yeah. If you need something, if you need help, just call me. Okay.
I've got Kirkland brand almonds.
So yeah, if your parents are gone, at least you have those.
Yeah, that's what unlike. Nah, I got nothing.
So I got a question, boys. Off topic. Who makes this?
Probably some liberal.
No idea.
Molson Coors Brewery, who's a distributor, and it's a brand that was originally started by The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah, Molson Coors Brewery is the distributor and main profiteer.
So you're saying this has alcohol in it?
No. It is their energy drink, though.
Yeah, I went to their website.
Not that good. I
went to their website, and it's just The Rock holding a drink.
My question is,
Rock likes it. I'm gonna like it.
My question is, when is the sugary drink market gonna be full? Is this like, dude? It's literally that's what everybody does now. They're like, hey, I just started a new drink.
It's hyper saturated. Like every single gas station is like starting to offer their own brand, like 7-Eleven with Fusion, and then you have this. It's like I see a new model or company every freaking month coming in.
Well, let me read out to you because I'm on the zoaenergy.com website. Let me read out this to you guys. It's got great taste, electrolytes, B. I know what you're thinking. He's gonna say B vitamins, B and C vitamins, 0 sugar, caffeine. I know you're like, oh, it's got caffeine. The caffeine is from green tea. It's got camu and amino acids.
I love camu. Yeah. It's my favorite.
It sounds pretty soy, to be honest.
Yeah, dude,
camu.
Well, it's like, dude, it's like every celebrity now either has like some drink like that or they're selling some sort of alcohol. And I'm like, I'm like, there's basically the United States economy at this point is OnlyFans and podcasters selling drinks.
20% of GDP. Yeah, I went to Checkers and Rallies the other day, and it's just like they're like half their menu is like get the T-Pain burger, and it's like it's just their normal burger, but it's got a picture of T-Pain next to it.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, at what point, like, I don't know, man, during the pandemic and all of that, when you had all these celebrities lecturing you about, you know, taking the COVID vaccine, I was just done with celebrities. So it's like, at what point, like, does paying T-Pain $50 million to put his name on a burger not become profitable?
We haven't found that moment yet.
Bro, at this point, if it's endorsed by a celebrity, I just won't use the product.
What if all steak was endorsed by a celebrity?
What if
it's steak? Just steak in general. What would you do?
Well, I'm not going to quit steak, so. But like, I'm not going to quit eating steak, but no, like, you know, you see the commercials like on TV now, and there's like George Clooney pushing his smug coffee because he's smug. And it's like, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to drink Nespresso because then I'm going to become a smug prick. Like, why? You know what I mean? It's just like overblown, overboard now. Like, It's like, hey, here's Taylor Swift, you know, in her latest new fucking 60-year-old cat lady drink.
Does Taylor Swift have a drink?
I wouldn't be surprised if she does. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what I think the way they rank it is slightly misleading because I think it's really like momentum based, so it'll fall off. But did you guys see what the number 3 podcast on Spotify is right now?
Is it Call Her Daddy?
No, but it's close. Yeah, Talk to Her. A Hawk to a Girls podcast, number 3 on Spotify.
Dude, who would have thought Andy Warhol was 100% correct that in the future everybody will get their 15 minutes of fame,
and the 15 minutes would be several months.
Yeah, but I mean that's what he meant by it. He didn't mean like literally 15 minutes, but yeah, it's like the number 3. And here's what I'm saying: if she has a good podcast, good on her. You know what I mean? Like all the girl did was, you know, say something ridiculously funny while she was drinking, and God bless her, man.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got my 15 minutes of fame yet, so I don't believe your theory.
Meet Kevin came on your channel.
Yeah, dude, you had your 15 minutes.
Look, I'm not attributing the highlight of my fame to Meet Kevin coming on my channel. Okay,
how could you not, dude?
That's not the pinnacle of my life.
Meet Kevin is an absolute legend in the investment community. Up there with the likes of Peter Lynch and Warren Buffett and Stanley Druckenmiller.
No, it's a joke now, but I'm telling you, in like 20 years, most of this stuff will be forgotten. And he'll be a huge finance guy. He'll be basically like Kevin O'Leary.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, I think he'll be closer to Jim Cramer. But like whatever he tells you to do the opposite.
Well, in 20 years, Shark Tank is just going to be like a TikTok live stream where you've got like Meet Kevin and the Hawk Tua girl, and you have to come with your investment idea, and they decide based on how many likes you get, they'll invest in your company.
Don't forget Jeremy Lefebvre.
Yeah, I didn't think I even had to mention him.
Oh, I can't wait till the day Jeremy's on TV. Oh man. I'm gonna harass that man for the rest of my life.
If CNBC brings on Stockmo for like market analysis, I think Jeremy Lefebvre will get his own TV show.
Yeah, if that doesn't tell you everything finance related is a grift and a scam, I don't know what does.
Well, I mean, dude, it's just gotten worse with social media. But I mean, go back and listen to Jim Cramer. You know, nothing wrong with Bear Stearns. It's a buy. The next day, financial crisis hits. And you know, and right now, I mean, look what the financial media is pushing. Like you go on CNBC, oh, the S&P 500, the economy's great, and you're like, dude, do you know any regular people? Like, because like regular people are having a lot of trouble in this market. And like you're sitting here saying the economy's good when clearly it's not, you know, and this is honestly one of the most expensive markets in history. When you look at the dividend yield you get from the S&P 500, it's one of the lowest that it's ever been. I mean, in your Shiller PE ratio or your CAPE ratio is 37 or 38 right now.
Look, U.S. stocks are going to go up so high that the dividend yield is going to be like 0.01.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a melt up. They would not surprise.
It would be hilarious. You see, it would be absolutely freaking hilarious.
You know, but it is what it is. And no, it would not surprise me if at some point Jeremy is like on CNBC.
No, he will be. I'm not saying that like as a joke. He will be. He'll have
what's funny is,
and he'll be on CNBC.
What's funny is though he's still going to use like the little MS Paint like drawings.
Probably.
Yeah. I could honestly see them doing like a partner. It's Jeremy and Paul, and they have a show on MSNBC called like The Value Investors or something.
Well, dude, that's the funniest thing about YouTube is just nothing will kill YouTube finance.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Like you said in your video, Chris, where you were saying, we almost had him defeated. And then fucking AI, my hot guy, saves him. And like now it's like, oh, look at my latest buy. Oh, what are you buying, Jeremy? Let me guess. Is it big tech? Like, yeah, I'm going to buy Google. Like, yeah, smart. Overvalued company going into a DOJ lawsuit.
I've never heard of Google. Can you explain this company more?
Yeah, it's basically a monopoly on search, and once it turned into a monopoly, its search features started to suck a bag of D's. So,
well, I will say that about you saying that YouTube, you can't kill YouTube finance. Graham Stephan has now lost his viewers all their money like twice now with FTX and now Yada Bank, and he's averaging like 1 million views a video still. Like he's just chugging along.
This is the thing. And I did a video on this, right? It actually amazes me at this point. When he was like apologizing for FTX, I'm like, this alone should have told you not to listen to this guy. Because it's like FTX was one of the most obvious scams I've ever seen in my life. Here's why. Hey, let me get them financial statements on FTX. Oh, we don't have financial statements. What? Like, if a business
that's the thing of the past.
Dude,
crypto's the future. You don't need financial statements.
like old boomers like Warren Buffett have like balance sheets and stuff.
Well, but even all that kidding aside, right? If your business doesn't hire an accountant right off the bat, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. You know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, are you actually keeping a track of your expenses and your revenue? Nah, dude, it's just crypto. It's just going to go to the moon. And Graham Stephan is supposed to be a financial guy, and he couldn't see that. Then, yep, the Yada Bank thing.
Which was like that sounds Yada Bank literally sounds like, because I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I know a bit like the website's like a casino, like that's the extent of what I know about it. But like that sounds like if I made a parody video about financial YouTubers, it'd be like, and today's sponsor is a bank that's a casino. You gamble all your money. That sounds like a joke, except they were just actually doing it.
No, dude, yeah, you're 100% on with that. It's like, hey, guys, welcome to my new sponsor, this random gambling app. And
but they paid him, bro. So it was worth it.
Well, that's another problem with these greed pigs. Graham probably has $30 million sitting in the index funds. He probably makes, I don't know what it is, but he's rich. He'll never have to work again. And he could just sit back and go, nah, I get paid enough, just from the YouTube ads that you run, because I really don't need that much more money. Instead,
and he also owns like 50 million in real estate or something.
Yeah. Instead of that, you're going to sell your customers out for what? Or your viewers out for what? 50 grand, 100 grand.
Yeah, it's true. The richer you are, the less you should take sponsorships.
That's what I'm saying.
The point of being wealthy is so you can say whatever you want and not be controlled.
Well, dude,
but when you take sponsors, they control you.
Let me give you a perfect example of it. I still like Rogan's podcast, but I have less respect for him because he's caved on multiple occasions. And I'm like, dude, what is the point of having FU money if you're going to say something on your podcast and then apologize for it? Right. And he still runs ads. I'm like, bro, you got like what, 200, 300 million in the bank? I'm not saying like if you have that much money, you shouldn't do sponsors if it's a product you believe in. It's like, well, I might, if I had that money and I found out about a good product that I enjoyed, be like, yeah, I'll do a sponsorship with this because I like the product. But
Yeah, like Sprite Tack.
yeah, like Spytac. I mean, honestly, those were pretty good quality pants.
Actually, I think I still have them. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
He's wearing them. Yeah.
But yeah, Cole, that's what I'm saying about the whole thing is like, you guys have how much money and you're still intent on milking every cent you can out of your audience and you're giving them bad advice. Like, I don't know, man.
This video is sponsored by Sprite Tack. May the company rest in peace.
Yeah. They paid Strongman $50,000 for his advertisement, and nobody bought a single pair, and they went bankrupt.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't, make money, dude. But like when you have as much money as these guys have, and then they're still intent, like, oh, I'm going to take whatever it was, 50, 100 grand, tell my viewers who trust my financial advice to put their money in some sketchy casino bank, and then they lose it. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get how you don't lose half your subs after that.
Just to check on, because honestly, I don't know anything about YouTube anymore, really. I haven't been watching any of these guys for the longest time. But
I can't stand it. That's why I don't really do reaction videos to them. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about these guys all the time. I might do. Chris is smiling because he's like back in.
I'm having fun now. Like before, I thought I would make a difference. Now it's just like I just want to roast these con men because they watch you, so you can still hurt them.
Strongman, you better upload the video today. Jay Naugy, have you ever read The Beginning of Fake by Robert Kiyosaki?
No.
Okay, he has this hilarious. I'm trying to get Strongman. I've sent him snippets of it. I'm trying to get Strongman to just do a video, just reading this and reacting to it. The start. So his book Fake is about like how all fiat currency is fake, and you need to have gold or Bitcoin. That's the only real money. But he starts off with a story of how he first ever found gold. And he's like, it was 1971, and I was stationed in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and Richard Nixon had just announced that the U.S. is going off the gold standard. And so he tells a story of how him and his buddy steal like a helicopter off of their like boat that they're on, and he like flies into enemy territory, and they meet like this 100-year-old Vietnamese woman with like red teeth, and he's like, we'll give you $60 for an ounce of gold, and she's like, no, spot is spot, which means the spot price of gold.
Yeah, no,
yeah, and so they're like, damn, I'm an idiot. I don't know. I can't beat this woman, and I can't haggle her for gold. And then all of a sudden, their helicopter, they get a mayday. The pilot back of the helicopter, it's sinking into the mud fields. So they have to sprint through enemy lines. And like, he's like, in my rush, I kicked a duck and stepped on a chicken. But the craziest part is, he says they land back like on their carrier or whatever they're on. The helicopter, he said the whole helicopter is caked in mud. All their uniforms are caked in mud. Like they're a complete wreck. And like the whole boat is like watching them land. Like, what the fuck? And he's like, Robert Kiyosaki gets out. He's like, don't even ask. And it ends like a comedy, like a sitcom or something. I'm like, no, you can't just take a helicopter.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Bro. Well, I don't know why you're questioning that. That happens all the time. Like I didn't like when I was in Iraq, I didn't even know how to fly a helicopter. I just took one and went on missions.
Dude, you would be in jail if you stole a helicopter.
Bro. Oh yeah, dude. You'd be in Leavenworth for a long time, dude.
But as if you're just gonna tell whoever your commander is, you're just gonna tell him like, oh, don't even ask. And he's like, all right, well, that's the end of that.
Well, yeah, no. Well, I was gonna ask for a mission report, but you told me not to ask. I'm sure I can clear this with Washington.
And that's actually where "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" came from.
Yeah, right, dude. Dude, Robert Kiyosaki, I never really looked into him. I'd heard the name, but Yeah. When Chris, again, he was reacting to Kiyosaki on that podcast or whatever when he was getting angry, and all the dude was doing was asking him questions.
And the dude's kissing his ass. Like the dude's like,
and
yeah.
It's like, bro, if you can't explain it to somebody, you don't understand it or you're a scammer. It's like, yeah, Jay, why do you keep saying that you should just primarily do index funds? Oh, numerous reasons. The market is better at sorting things out than you are. You don't really have time, because you work a 40-hour-a-week job, and you'll probably get better results if you just have fun with it. Use 5% of your money for play money. And you know what? If you want to buy a penny stock and you throw $100 at it because you think it's going to go somewhere, that's fine. But if you do that with a large portion of your portfolio, you're probably going to lose all your money. Oh,
Jay, I don't have a job.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually sell courses, so I don't work. Yeah. So I actually have time to pick stocks.
Yeah, well, then you should follow Joseph Carlson, buy big tech.
Oh, that's somebody I need to go after because he needs a good railing every once in a while.
He gets it.
This is what I don't get about YouTube finance, right? Every video is about big tech or Palantir. I'm like, you guys realize there's like 10,000 stocks in the world or so.
Yeah, but they found the good ones.
Yeah.
So why talk about the bad stocks?
I haven't watched it yet, but I think this could be a good video for you, strongman. I went to my favorite, Andre Jeek, who's at 2.5 million subs. Good for him.
With his adjustable rate mortgage.
Yeah, his rates were at 0, and he got an adjustable rate mortgage because he said rates go down. His logic was because somebody's like, why wouldn't you lock that? I think it was Graham was like, why wouldn't you lock that in? He's like, well, I looked at a chart and it showed that rates go down over time.
Yeah, they're going to be -5, Andre. The bank's going to pay you.
Andre, you are really smart. That adjustable rate mortgage will turn into a free house. That's how that works.
It's like, well, what happened to my loan? Well, your interest rate was negative, so we paid off your loan.
Yeah. Anyway, his video, I'll just read the video title. I haven't watched it, but this is the video title. Breaking. Michael Saylor predicts $13 million per Bitcoin.
So I watched that because I saw that as potential content too, but he barely mentioned Saylor. It's more about just like, oh, how do you... I don't even remember what he was talking about, but he didn't really address Saylor. It was more of like clickbait.
My favorite thing about keeping up with Andre is you'll notice it's not always, but whenever he learns, because he loves like learning new words. So if he learns a new word, just watch the next 5 videos in a row, and he just, even if it doesn't even make sense in context, he just throws the word in there. Like he was just, when he learned the term Veblen good, that's when he was big on NFTs and Spider-Man and stuff. He's like, there's this thing called a Veblen good, and it's like, why do people pay $20,000 for a watch? They all tell time the same. Well, the reason is because people just like buying things that are really expensive for no reason to show how rich they are. And that's why NFTs are going to be a great long-term investment. So he just kept saying Veblen good, Veblen good, Veblen good.
Yeah, it probably has nothing to do with the fact that like a lot of those really expensive watches are handmade.
Well, what if you could get like a digital one that was like made by like a AI, and you couldn't wear it, and it didn't tell time, but you had a picture of it.
Yeah, and I mean, like a watch a lot of times is a rich guy flex, but so he has a point there. But yeah, no, like what you said stands. Like that's for the next 5 videos, I'm just going to use this word I just learned.
It had some other, I forgot what the word was. It had something to do with that. Yeah, never mind. I don't even remember what the word is.
Yeah, but no, dude. What's disappointing about Graham Stephan is that he was or is the smart one of that group.
By far.
But instead of like having some integrity, it is what it is, man. He just, grifted his fans with FTX and whatever fucking Yoda Bank.
Well, he's got some stuff to make up for, basically.
What, going to Diddy parties or
it's his stature?
Yeah. And
It
he got his,
makes him feel
ass
powerful.
beat at Creator Clash.
But the thing about like Andre and Jeremy is when it was actually quite brilliant what they did when they started out. Because they were guys in their like mid-20s. So they just made up that they had like a what sounds like a good portfolio, a large portfolio for their age, but it's not actually ridiculous. Like Andre Jeek's like, by 26, I had $180,000 stock portfolio. And it's like, Andre, you can't be, not that your crew is going to go, the people that watch you are going to go back and look. But if you look at his origin video, for lack of a better term, there is no possible way when he talks about the money he made that he was in the way he invests, that he had $180,000 portfolio. Same with Jeremy. There is no way that dude in 2.5 years created a $200,000 or $250,000 portfolio. Like
the only way is that they did some kind of degenerate investment.
Well,
like
dude,
buying calls on triple leverage something.
I would respect those guys, right? If Jeremy came on there and he goes, I'm 25 years old. I have a, $30,000, $40,000 portfolio. And they pushed index funds, but they also covered stocks for the content. I'd respect him and I wouldn't say anything. But I mean, the grift is strong. $20,000 to have Jeremy review your portfolio and lose money by putting you in Tattooed Chef.
I kind of want to like pressure Meet Kevin into letting one of his 23-year-old financial advisors review my portfolio. I want to see what kind of financial plans Stock Hack can generate for me.
Well, bro, here's like everything with Meet Kevin is it's $420 a month and our expense ratio is 0.69.
That's funny, Jay.
69 and that's the lowest expense ratio of any fund in the market. It's a market leading low.
Right.
There's nothing lower, Cole. I've searched thousands of financial advisory firms, and his is the lowest.
Now there is a monthly fee that's a little high,
but that's not an expense ratio.
It's not a fee. It's not a fee.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's like this in every bull market, overvalued market throughout history. That's when the scammers come out. And, I mean, for me, it's just sad because, there's somebody out there who's going to allow Kevin to destroy their financial future. Because, again, like, let's start with a reasonable portfolio for your average American hitting up their, 401k. Let's just go with $100,000. It's a nice round number, right? When you lose half of that, if you just lose half of that, or it's getting eaten up in fees, that is devastating to your financial future.
But you got to take risks, Jay. Okay, if you buy indexes, you're gonna be rich, and you're like 65.
That's what
you might as well just YOLO and maybe get rich, because there's a chance you might get rich and just retire, never have to work again. So why wait till you're 65?
Yeah, I should bring on my buddy who put $30,000 into a penny stock that's down by like he's lost like basically 90% of his money.
But there is some kind of twisted logic to it, because if you're broke and you don't have a lot and you don't want to work, I mean, some of these people, the only way they can make it is a lottery ticket. Some people.
I'm just saying, like, right? If you wanted to do micro cap stocks, and there's micro caps out there where when you look at the financials, they're actually good. Okay. Now, if you wanted to play that market, why not just buy one of those micro caps? Like if you want the lottery ticket that has a solid foundation, maybe it'll take off or maybe it'll go out of business. But, you look at what is it? Alpha stock status.
Oh God, they're still posting, by the way.
Are they? Are they still around?
Yeah, but they basically died off. They grifted their fan base of lower middle class white workers, and now
You know who I actually respect at this point is Diamond Hands.
Diamond Hands investing. You're just trying to get in her panties, bro.
She did her little thing. She built up, and then I don't know. She got sick of doing it and she quit. I respect that.
I'll tell you one thing she didn't get sick of doing.
Cole's future wife.
Dude, if you would have told me, when did the GameStop thing start? Was it 2021 or 2022? I want to say 2021, right? It's like 3 years.
Yeah, it was
ago.
something like that.
If you would have told me like when it started, you're like, hey, do you think if the MOAS never happens for 3 years, people will realize it's not real anymore, right? I would go, yeah, of course they're not going to be doing it in 2024. No, it's still going. People are still, the subreddit, people are still posting every day. They're still holding.
Did you see that documentary? There's a channel called like James Janney or something. He just released these 2-hour-long documentaries covering all the meme stocks. And it's like, you're correct. There's still like whole cults around these stocks. Even though like Bed Bath & Beyond, I think the shit, it's like completely delisted or whatever. They're still believing there's going to be a MOAS any day.
Okay, I'm going to watch this today.
Yeah, was this documentary good or?
Yeah, I mean he's got he's got very good production, and
yeah, dude, he's got 2 million subscribers, and he posts one video a year. So he takes his time of making these.
Dude, Cole, did you watch Elephant's Graveyard on Rogan's special?
Well, see, I told you that guy was pissing me. I said I didn't like his video. You said you loved it.
Dude, I thought it was so funny. I thought it was, and it's like my opinion of Rogan's special was, it's Rogan. It was middling for Rogan. Like, in my opinion, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not one of those people that thinks he's the worst comedian ever, but
he's not good.
He's not. Well, he's not Louis C.K. or Bill Burr or anything like that, but. That special, was, you were like, you wanted to go, Joe, you spent 6 years on that, bro. You're doing too much. Mm-hmm. That's why it's like you recycled jokes, but
yeah, because it's like his third job because he does a podcast every day and then he does MMA or whatever the fighting thing is.
Yeah, but the Elephant's Graveyard take on it was just so funny to me. I'm surprised you didn't find it funny.
Well, I went in angry. I was because I went in kind of angry because like all these comments, it's like what you were saying. All these comments were like, "Oh, I go to open mics and there's 20 people funnier than Rogan." I'm like, he's not that unfunny. So all these videos being super critical of him, I kind of went in kind of jaded. Bro,
here's the thing though. Here's the reality of it. Most open mics, and like when you that hilarious bit you had, and then people are running up to you afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Most open mic comedians are insane. They're
Strongman just found that out. Like,
yeah, they're borderline retarded. Okay, and like this, one of the reasons why I don't really do it anymore was I would just have these people coming up to me going, oh, your bit that you were kind of working out there, it's got potential. And I'm looking at the guy and he's giving me advice. And I'm like, okay, but I've never heard you get a laugh.
Yeah.
Right. But there is truth in that. At open mics around the country, there's dudes out there that are funnier than any working comedian.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't see him in Florida.
Any big name you can think of, they are actually funnier than them. So, I mean, when they say like, yeah, there's guys that are funnier than Rogan at my open mic.
Oh,
yeah. True, dude.
But they were. I mean, you get it. It was people who were like, the people who are exaggerating. They're like, oh my buddy at work is funnier than him. Like it was just they're naming people like that were not anyway.
Yeah,
I thought people were just being too negative.
Yeah, I agree with you. They are. And it's like, well, here's the thing. that it would ultimately come down to, that I would tell people if I was talking to him, I go, listen, he has his audience, and maybe that audience thinks he's hilarious. Like, there's comedians out there like Amy Schumer. Or Whitney Cummings. I don't think either one of those two are funny in the slightest.
Amy is very hot and very funny.
Yeah, but they have their fan base. So is it really that they're bad at comedy, or is it really that, you just don't think they're funny?
So my main thing is that I just like, even if a special wasn't, even if I didn't laugh at all, which I laughed at as special.
I laughed in parts.
But I just respect that he's got the #1 podcast in the world, and for most people, like, that would be the peak. But he's also the fact that he can still make specials, even if it takes like 6 years. It's kind of like with Michael Jordan, like, he was the best basketball player of all time, and he's like, I'm gonna go do baseball, and he was enough to he was in the minor leagues, but people were making fun of him. They're like, oh, you couldn't even get to the major leagues, and you're Michael Jordan. It's like, he was already the best basketball player ever. The fact that you could even play another sport professionally is
well, yeah, dude, because you have that hater crowd where a dude will drop a football on a play, and they're like, this fucking bum, dude, I could have made that catch, and you're like, no, you couldn't, dude.
Do you know
you actually couldn't.
Are we kind of the hater crowd for YouTube finance?
We are. We're big hate. We just call everything a scam online.
Well, dude, we are haters, but it's because, like, we understand how bad these people are messing up people's financial futures. Like, I use this example, dude, with Jeremy, that grandma on Financial Fortress that was giving her testimonial. And it was clear when she was talking, she didn't know what the guy at the bank was doing. Okay. And then she goes, yeah, I found Jeremy Lefebvre and I'm making all this money in Tattooed Chef. And you're like, she was going to rely on that money for her retirement and probably pass it along to her grandkids. And now it's all gone. It's a ruthless thing, man. I don't understand how people do that to other people.
It's called being a soulless, money-grubbing beast, a devil.
Well, I say it on my live streams all the time. I don't want to be an influencer. I think the majority of influencers are fucking lame. They do the same thing over and over again. I'd rather just be a guy who goes to work.
Well, I mean, if you're on YouTube, you are an influencer. It's just like inherent.
Well, I hope
we're just not big ones.
I hope I'm influencing people to just max their tax advantaged accounts and go to the beach.
People are unrelated, but people in the comments, because we were talking about comedians, but people in the comments were talking about Norm Macdonald. For the first time, I'm watching, I think it's just called The Norm Show. It was like a sitcom from like 1997 or something. It's pretty, it's literally just a generic sitcom, but Norm by himself is like, pulls it up to like a 10, and I'm loving it. It's
dude, Norm is one of the funniest people of all time. Like, just that one, when he was on The View, is one of the most hilarious things that ever happened, where he's like, it's good to get all that murder out of the White House. And they're like, Norm, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, Bill Clinton, he murdered a guy.
And immediately the lady's like, okay, you can't say that on air. He's like, I thought it was public record.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, fine, compromise, manslaughter.
Yeah. My quick thing, I don't know, because I don't use social media really, and I don't. I remember a time. This is back when the internet was good.
Was
you
fun.
Just like what?
When the internet was fun before it became corporatized and sanitized and boring.
Yes, I remember on Reddit, if you posted like a picture of your dog and you were like my dog just got surgery and now he's better now, and it would be like 1,000 comments being like, you fuckwad, like, this isn't Facebook, like, get this bullshit off of here. Like, but now it's like, so I went on Twitter and I saw like, this is like one of the biggest things on Twitter right now. It's got 70,000 likes. It's trending. It's got 1.1 million views. It's just a guy with a picture of his son maybe, and he says, Daniel is 18 years old today. He has no friends as he won't leave home and can't work. Autism does that to you. Wish him a happy birthday and retweet. And I want to be cynical about it. I'm like, why do you need random strangers retweeting this to have a good? Why can't you just go have a nice day with your son or whatever?
Dude, it's because the internet turned everybody into fame whores.
Okay, well, first of all, Cole, that's not the X that I see.
Okay.
I see a totally different, like, far right X.
What do you see on there?
Lots of mustache man, lots of people
Evil.
that live in Israel. Lots. I don't see like heartwarming posts on X.
Well, dude,
Yeah, I just went to because I don't have like an account, so I just went to like the trending.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I mean-
maybe it's what I'm looking at. I don't know.
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to subscribe to the dead internet theory.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. Like, a lot of times I go on like the daily, I love the Daily Mail, that website, because there's just so many like just random mishmash of news articles. And sometimes I'll read the comments and I'm just reading the comment section going, who takes the time out of their day to argue with people on the Daily Mail? Is it? I'm like, are these just bots?
Bots arguing with bots.
That is the craziest ones that people get into arguments on like their local news station, and there's like two people in the comments, but it's like 70 comments. They've been arguing for like 2 weeks about like.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, it's
And
probably
like,
old people. They're sitting in their houses. They got nothing to do. They're retired, collecting Social Security. Yeah, they might take the time to argue with somebody all freaking day.
yeah, dude. I don't get it. Like, I'm like, I here's the thing with being without power for like 2 days, I just realized something. I go, even though a lot of times I'm just listening to videos, like if I'm cleaning my house, I'm just like, oh, YouTube video, I'll throw it on and it's just in the background. I was like, I waste entirely too much time out of my day watching these videos for what? So I can see the 96th version of somebody talking about Civil War. It's like, let me point this out. Most Americans are way too fucking soft and weak to get engaged in a civil war. Like, the second you can't go to Dunkin' Donuts and get your triple spiced hobo nutsack latte, like you're gonna be like, this sucks, man. I thought Civil War was going to be fun.
And
Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants that. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it distracts from like the real news. Like, shit.
Well, here's what you like. I never just sit and watch something and do nothing else. Like if I'm watching YouTube, or I'm basically listening to it while I'm doing work or I'm doing a workout or something like that. I never just sit down and watch it because if you just sit down and just stare at the screen, you are completely wasting your time because most of the content's bullshit. It's just regurgitated talking points with different dressing.
I think that is why the podcast economy is like as big as it is, because like people aren't watching stuff anymore. You just need something in the background while you scroll on your phone. And it used to be like when you wanted a cheap show, you would make like a reality show or something. It's no script or anything. And podcasts, I imagine, like the cheapest thing to make. You just get a microphone, two guys sit in a room and talk, and then and you just make it 4 hours long with like 20 ad sponsor reads, and somebody just, oh, let me put that on. I'm gonna read Twitter for 4 hours.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of YouTube traffic, honestly, is actually just office workers sitting there and they go, I just need some noise. Like I think it's replaced a lot of like talk radio.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, whatever it was, maybe somebody threw on Rush Limbaugh just so it was in the background. I think a lot of that is what like YouTube views are. Is like, oh, Rogan's podcast, for example, it's 3 hours long. Okay. So if you're like, even if you're just like a carpenter or something, You go, yeah, I'm sick of listening to music. You just walk over, hit play on Rogan's podcast, and now you just got something going in the background while you're going around and working.
I mean, that's me. Like, so I always get these notifications like, oh, you were on your phone for an average of 7 hours a day. Like, that's how much screen time you were using. And it's like, no, I'm actually, while I'm in the office working, I'll put on a long video, put my phone somewhere else while it's charging, and then do my work.
Yeah. And so, like, this becomes the bigger question that I've had the whole time. What kind of return are these companies getting for advertising on YouTube? Like, I just don't see it. Because here's my thing. Have you ever listened to a podcast and then they advertise something and you went, oh, yeah, I'm going to go home and order that? I've never bought anything.
Well, I bought this electrolyte mix called Element. It's pretty good, but that's the only thing.
Well, yeah, okay. So,
but I'm very susceptible. I bought like 8 mattresses, like 20 pairs of underwear. Every time I hear an ad, I just go buy it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, I already have a queen size bed, but let me get this mattress from Purple.
Yeah.
Well, dude, there's some people that are like hyper materialists. Like people like us, we're not big spenders. I have a hard time spending money sometimes. There's other people out there that are the exact opposite. And those are the ones that they're constantly thinking of new ways to spend money. And that's who they're targeting. It depends on the person.
Here's my thing. I'd rather not spend money on bullshit and then be able to buy whatever food I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Or it's like, whatever luxury that you want, I'd rather just not buy bullshit to spend it on that.
I like to spend my money on vacations to Florida to hang out with Jay Naugy.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that you spent your money on it. It didn't cost me anything.
Well,
I know.
I remember
you should have chipped in, bro.
Yeah, because we have a group chat and Jay was like begging Strongman. He's like, "There's a hurricane. Can I please come up to Virginia? Like, before I'm gonna get flooded." And Chris just like blocked him. Chris is like,
it must have been an accident. My hand must have just slipped.
No, Jay, stay there and drown. But yeah, no, dude. So, I mean, my thing is too, like, I don't know, the people that think in the modern YouTube, they're going to get big. Like, Meat Grinder wouldn't have made it today. Like, he got lucky because he started in like 2014 or 2015, and he was sniffing Grant Cardone's panties.
Actually, it seems so obvious in hindsight, but you're like, I can't believe it took because YouTube started in like either 05 or 06. Like, it's crazy that it took so long for YouTube finance to kind of take off. I guess you had to wait for like things like Robinhood to make it easy for anyone with like a phone to like be able to do it.
And a bull market.
Yeah.
Again, go back to 2022 when the market was the market was just reverting into like fair value territory. It really wasn't like it was down, but you look at, like Jeremy's views and Meet Kevin's views during that time, they were down massively.
Oh yeah.
Especially
why Kevin got crushed.
Well, dude, that's why all these guys started doing channel revenue tokens, right? And I couldn't believe when I did videos on that, I was getting pushback from people. I'm like, are you effing retarded?
Yes,
well,
they are.
Clear value tax turned as, here, buy my channel revenue token. Well, now that he's not making as much money, what's his motivation to make videos? Like, it was, but those guys, their views were down massively. And if we, the yield curve just uninverted, all that jazz and nonsense, if we go into, we've been talking about it for years, a real bear market. I mean, are these guys going to survive? Is Jeremy going to be back at the gas station turning tricks out back for extra money?
Worst case, he'll find a new con. He'll become an expert of something else.
Watch him become a gold expert.
Yeah, I mean, like that seems to be the trend. Like a lot of these guys that are finance gurus, they eventually end up in like gold or Bitcoin pumping.
Didn't Jeremy buy like 10,000 in silver like 2 years ago?
But yeah, that's his emergency savings, so that doesn't count.
That's right. Yeah,
That's not an investment.
he said that, right? He said that's my emergency savings. You said the silver.
Yeah, he said he literally it was part of his emergency savings.
Well, but he meant like a real emergency. Like there's like zombies and nuclear war, so he has to like banks are down. He has to shave off.
No, I don't think that kind of emergency. It's more of
no. He said because he showed the silver bars. He said I'll shave off one piece and this will buy me food for a week.
Oh,
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, with an ETF. Yeah. I mean, there's apparently some silver stored somewhere, and you're an owner of that silver.
And you just have to get to London to get it.
Yeah.
Can you please react to the fucking Kiyosaki? It's like 4
All right, fine. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I got to work out, okay, after this, and I got some other stuff to do, but I will see if I can find the full excerpt. Did you send me the link to
I sent you the full. It's because it's free on. He posted the beginning for free online, so it's just there.
All right. Is it a long? Like, is it gonna take a while to read it live?
Oh no, to read it's like 3 minutes to read it. It's just however much you want to react to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it was like a 30 minutes of text wall.
No. What's Jeremy's? I see Jeremy uploaded a video. It's just called 10 million. Does anyone know what that's about?
Oh, Chris reacted to it.
Oh, my bad.
Are you not watching my channel, Cole?
No, this is the first time I've seen it. This is the first time I'm watching your channel in months.
What the hell's wrong with you? What have you been up to?
Well, you stopped grifter slaying.
Oh, so you don't like my channel now?
What
Dude, I like how Jeremy went from I'm going to be a billionaire to
yes. I'm gonna have 10 million, maybe. But he's such a dumbass. He's like, oh, all you got to do is just get 20% returns for 6.5 years, bro. The higher your returns, the faster you get rich. Imagine that.
Well, dude, no, yeah. Maybe if you didn't lose whatever it was, $3 million on the chef.
I never forget.
It was only a couple 100,000. Not a big deal.
That was my favorite part. His video where he said he's going to be a billionaire. He's like, didn't he say like the most important part isn't like a high return? The most important part is not taking big losses. That's what he said.
He might have, dude. Well, that's Warren Buffett's rule number 1. Don't lose money. And his rule number 2 is see rule number 1.
Yeah, it's too bad Jeremy's dyslexic. He thought it said lose money.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like the Palantir grift is strong, but it's like who's what? Like after you've seen the 50th video on Palantir, who's watching this?
Well, it's kind of like why do people go to church every Sunday? It's a cult. Like they're fully involved in this pseudo religion thing that is Palantir.
It's like after you've been to one P. Diddy party, like why do you go to the next one?
I don't know. Seems like a good time, man. Think P. Diddy's going to
close my prior activity, so I'm not going to address that.
Do you think Puffy's going to make it to trial?
He's going to be killed by Kamala.
Puffy.
I love how 50 Cent has been calling this dude out for like 20 years.
Even there's jokes about Bill Cosby from like 10 years before stuff came out. Like,
dude, no,
everybody just knows
Bill Cosby from the 1970s, dude. He has jokes of him on stage. He's a video of him on stage talking about Spanish fly.
What? I'm sorry, I don't know what Spanish fly is.
It's something you give to women.
Do you know what a fly is, Cole?
I know what a fly. It's the thing I always unzip.
Yeah.
Do you know what Spain is?
Yes.
Put 2 and 2 together. Okay.
I think Spanish fly sounds like we could make a crypto called Spanish. I think that sounds like a good name for a crypto.
No, we're doing poopy ass shark fart coin.
Poopy fart. And guess how many total, because You know how Bitcoin is immune from like devaluation because there's a limited number of Bitcoin?
Yeah,
makes
that's a fact.
complete sense.
Scientific fact.
So guess how many poopy fart coins we're gonna have total?
One each.
420.
And we're gonna give out 69,000 to the public.
Yeah, we're gonna give us. This is gonna be both. Y'all, I just rewatched that video last week. That's so funny. Y'all remember the Millennial Money video where one of them's complaining? I think it might be Andre or Jeremy. They're complaining about their Tesla being broken. They're like, "Yeah, my Tesla broke, and they charged me $400 to get it fixed." And Graham's like, "I wish they charged you $420." And all of them are like, like I thought Jeremy was gonna like have a heart attack. Jeremy was like laughing so hard when Graham said $420.
I can't even watch that because I might die from laughter.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, dude. And then there was the millennial. What was that? Where they were in the sauna.
Oh, sweat something. Don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it. That's still I think he's still doing that.
There's no way.
Yeah, I think he is.
And this random woman I've never heard of is his like co-host for some reason.
She's pretty popular in Vegas. She's a comedian. She was all over the billboards.
Okay, so his last video was 2 months ago. So,
well, dude, I think a lot of these podcasters were pushed by corporate media. Because I mean, there's things that go on where I'm like, this makes no sense. Where the new hot person on the block gets 500,000 subs in like 6 months, and I go, yeah, maybe in 2015 that's possible.
Well, do you know the Hawk Tua girl? Do you know who's actually like running her like podcast? Like who's behind it?
No, who is it?
You know who's behind everything?
George Soros.
Got it half right.
Who's but yeah, George Soros is he's part of that.
No, it's Jake Paul, Logan Paul's brother, is the one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You know he's trying to get some poon. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, dude. I'm like Logan Paul. Like a lot of these podcasts were always a mystery to me, where I was like, who tunes in every week to hear what Logan Paul has to say about stuff?
Teenage boys,
dude. I found it's crazy how I found this YouTube channel. It's got like 8 million subscribers, and I think like his oldest subscriber is like 7 years old. He just makes videos that are nonsense. Like he's like I saw one video where he's sitting at a table like playing an Xbox controller, and he's like, "Die, mother, beep, die!" And there's like a laugh track plays, and it cuts to him on the toilet, and he like farts, and a laugh track plays, and it's got like 8 million views, and like all the comments are like, who else thinks this is so funny? But it's like it's spelled, every word is spelled wrong. It's like some 4-year-old like on an iPad.
Dude, I'm ready for aliens to just wipe us out. Just come here and be like, you guys are too stupid. We watched YouTube and we've decided you've been scheduled for termination.
I've literally just been not really watching YouTube. I've just the only media I watch is like shows from the 90s, but like I've been watching like Seinfeld, early South Park, early Simpsons.
Oh, you mean when writers could write a coherent story?
Yeah, and it's crazy how good everything is. Like you think it's 30 years out of date, but no, it's all still just good.
Well, dude, I've thought about that a lot. Like, you know, when you look at shows like The Crapolite on Disney, and you know everything that Disney puts out, you have to sit there and wonder what's going on. So, number one, I think it's a cult. Okay. And number two, I think that it's just the financialization of everything. So, like, if you look at it back in the day, like, okay, the show Cheers, right? You would only have so many writers. So obviously what would have happened is you have the best writers. writing those stories, Cosby Show, whatever, Seinfeld. But then when it became this rush for content and financialization, I think a lot of it was they were just, oh, this guy, you're a writer, you'll do, get in there. We just need to put this crap out.
But
because I think like Netflix in a lot of ways changed the landscape where all these other companies were going, well, we got to do the Netflix thing, right? But they didn't realize you can't actually financialize certain entertainment products like Star Wars. Disney bought it and they were like, okay, we're going to put out all this Star Wars content. But all you ended up doing was watering it down.
So explain this to me, Jay, because I'm seeing the budget for the Acolyte was over $200 million, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Now I know Disney, like the executives and the board of directors of Disney, they don't actually care about all the SJW stuff. They want to make money, but surely they're seeing it's not making money. So why is there not a course correction?
I think a lot of that is agency capture.
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney was captured by the cult. And they're forcing all that SJW stuff in there where people don't want it. Like on my channel, I use it all the time. I use this example all the time where they were like, Disney will be like, this is the gayest content ever. And I go, okay, that's fine. If you want to make that, like, I don't care. But you're targeting a small audience where you're just shoving it down people's throat. And I go, here's a really good movie that was put out where you don't actually care who the characters sleep with. And that's Dallas Buyers Club. I always use that movie as an example. It was a great movie, man. But you don't care like who these people are going to bed with, but you're compelled by their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it became for these people is narrative versus content. So that's like what you're looking for is good content and an engaging story where they go, but these people that they've hired are in a cult and they go, no, it's about, diverse communities or whatever. And people go, okay, but why should I care about your character?
Because they're diverse.
Yeah. But it just doesn't work. And it just ends up being unfunny, talentless people that got brought in to write these shows.
What I just don't get, why would this get a $200 million, but like what happened to like, okay, we'll give you a $5 million budget for season 1. And if the show's popular, you get a higher budget.
Well, because it's a cult.
I guess.
They don't understand. Like, your stories have to be profitable to the organization or else they can't do it. Because if everything's unprofitable, the company goes out of business. Disney Entertainment is basically just saved by its parks at this point. And I think, I think Bob Iger is an ideologue himself.
Mm-hmm.
Has Disney Plus not turned a profit yet?
I don't think that it has. I mean, I'd have to go and look, but
I thought they were close to like finally breaking even, but I haven't checked.
The ideology took over and everything that it's successful, because I liked the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian,
mm-hmm.
but then ideology took over and I was like, all right, I'm not paying for this. And then I watched Book of Boba Fett and I go, this is just awful. Whoever wrote this, like, it's just terrible. So then I just canceled my Disney Plus because I was like, I'm not going to pay you if there's nothing that I want to watch on your channel.
So what streaming services do you have now?
Just Netflix.
Yeah, actually, I just bought back into Netflix, by the way. I got the $6.99 ad tier. Or with ads. It's actually not a bad deal. The ads aren't really that bad.
No, dude. I mean, look, if you're a person who's just like, I throw on Netflix when I'm bored. $6.99 a month's not a bad deal.
Well, dude, like 20 years ago, people were paying $60 a month to watch TV with ads, and you couldn't even pick what you wanted to watch. You had to do whatever the cable companies were playing. So now, yeah, $7 to it's still just ads like TV. So it's a good deal. But people are like, anything with this is the actual opinion people have. They're like some people even go as far as to say it should be illegal for if a streaming service has ads, you can't pay for it. It has to be free if it has ads. I'm like, $7 is a good deal.
Yeah,
I mean, if they tell you up front, we're going to charge you this, but you have to watch ads.
Yeah, people are
stupid. That's not illegal.
Well, here's the thing, strong man, is that even though they tell you up front, Netflix has a monopoly, and don't tell me what the definition of monopoly is, because they are a monopoly. So actually, it's almost like slavery, because you don't have any choice but to watch Netflix because it's a monopoly.
Yeah, dude, people are ridiculous where they say, well, there should be a law where they can't charge. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to get Netflix.
Everything should be free, bro.
And yeah, they're also like, they're like, dude, when you go to the grocery store, like everything in the grocery store is owned by just like 10 or 15 companies. I'm like, that's a good deal of companies. That's not.
Well, dude, I actually had to get off of Facebook because all these people were, posting Robert Reich videos going, the price increases are corporate greed. And I'm like, bro, you should go and look at the gross margins of a grocer. It's like,
yeah, they're not profitable,
dude.
They're not very profitable at all.
Yeah, I'm like, they make money off of volume. They're actually incentivized to sell you more stuff at a cheaper rate. And it's like, Robert Reich, everybody's favorite economist who has a PhD in public policy, and they're just posting this stuff. And then they're calling people who they're like, one of my friends, he was saying, yeah, if people just had a basic education in economics, they'd understand that this is corporate greed. And I'm like, and he's calling everybody else stupid. And I'm just sitting there going, I mean, I'm not going to argue about this on Facebook because it's stupid, but I'm just like, bro, have you even taken Economics 101?
Jay, you're still surprised that people are stupid.
No.
I wanted to bring this up during your dead internet theory thing, and it's now some of these are just real people.
I gotta pee.
You're all good. Some of these are real people, but there's a lot of bots that are just
Thank you,
bots
Cole.
get there. The bots, you're welcome. The bots get there first, and then they shape people's because people form their opinions based on what comments they read on social media. That's why bots are so effective. So for like years and years, all Reddit complains about is like how expensive everything is. They're like I make $100,000 and it's impossible for me to afford groceries and I can't afford a house. And so like, because things are so expensive, but then just all you do is change the framing. You post an article like JD Vance says food prices are highest ever under Joe Biden. And it's something that like Reddit's been saying for like every day for the last year, but you just say like, oh, it's Biden that's because of it. And then all of a sudden all the comments are like, dude, I went to the grocery store and I got all my food for like $20. Like prices have never been cheaper.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a lot of that's narrative control.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's also this thing that like, a lot of, when they're talking about houses and stuff, I agree. Houses are more expensive than ever. But also, something you have to factor in is how much larger houses have gotten since the 1970s and 60s. So it's not just like this easy explanation. But here's the thing. Where I grew up, almost everybody I know's parents, like my father and all of his friends, basically when they were getting their houses, they had their houses framed in and then they did all of the rest of the work. Right? Like my dad said, I ran most of the electrical. I had an electrician come in and sign off on it. He goes, but I did most of the work in drywalling. Well, people don't do that today. And then they wonder, why is this house so much more expensive? And you're like, well, dude, again, you have to take things into consideration.
There was a post. It gets posted like once a month or so on Reddit. It's an ad from like the 50s, and it's a house that's on sale for like $5,000 total or something. And people are like, why don't we have that anymore? But like you look, and it's the house. It has no garage. It's like 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It's like 600 square feet. It's like a kitchen. The kitchen and the living room is like the size of like your bedroom, and then there's like 1 bedroom. It's like a shack basically. And people are like, why aren't houses $5,000 anymore?
Yeah, and I mean,
and it's also filled with asbestos, and there's no plumbing. There's no,
yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
I mean,
$5,000.
yeah.
yeah, and so I mean, the whole thing is more complicated, but I agree. The average person's wages have stagnated. And that's actually from globalism. But, like, it's like take certain things into consideration, that things were done a little bit different back in the day. Because you're like, okay, yeah, houses are much more expensive. But do you think you could find a fixer-upper for like 60, 70 grand? Well, I think you could. But the problem is you don't want to put in the work.
And I mean, and let's to be fair, let's be on their side a little bit.
Oh, I'm on their side.
I'm gonna say they couldn't fix it, because you went to high school and they taught you how to fix everything, and now that's just not a thing anymore.
Oh, dude, education has gotten so bad in this country since the inception of the Department of Education. It's like, dude, I mean, pretty soon you're not even going to have to read or be able to do any sort of math to get your high school diploma.
And I mean, I know some of the stories are a little exaggerated, but there are high schools, like I think they said in Baltimore, there's a high school where, and this is the graduates, this is not the people flunking out, the people graduating the high school, their average math level is 3rd grade, and they're graduating the high school.
I think these are certain areas. Yeah. Like,
I know it's a little, I know some of these stories are like a little alarmist and exaggerated a bit, but I mean, they do say like it's just, it's bad in some places.
Well, dude, I mean, look at your average college graduate now. I mean, employers are going, they're just putting their hands up going, yeah, these people come in, they expect to make $150,000 a year. They don't want to actually show up and do the work. And it's like, you wonder why there's open borders. It's like, well, corporations are kind of looking at it going, well, nobody in America wants to actually work anymore.
Yeah, the loudest people online, like the biggest, like the loudest socialists and stuff, are really just, and I don't think they even are aware of what it is. They grew up in like a wealthy household where they went on vacation 4 times a year. They maybe even had a second house, a summer home, and then they're just like, oh, well, that's what life is. And so they go to college, they get their degree in whatever, and they're like, all right, time to buy my 10,000 square foot house with my parents. And they're like, well, I can't afford this.
Yeah, because like I was listening to just whatever news is on in the background at work when I'm eating. So it happened to be on Fox News. And he was going around asking college kids in New York City how much they're paying. And this one girl, she goes, yeah, I'm going to NYU and it's $100,000 a year.
That sounds more expensive than Harvard.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there and they go, who's paying for it? And she goes, oh, my dad is. And I'm like, okay, here's part of the problem. I don't give a fuck how much money I had. I could have $1 billion in the bank. When my kid was like, yeah, I want to go to NYU, I'd go, okay, how much is it a year? And she goes, $100K. I'd be like, you're out of your mind. That's not happening.
I mean, I'd be like, hey, if you want to go, you can always join the military.
You can get a job at McDonald's and work 120 hours a week, and you can.
Yeah, and so it's just, and the professors in college, they're incentivized. I mean, I was watching something on YouTube where this woman was talking about some ridiculous degree. Just go with underwater basket weaving because I don't remember what it was. And she's convincing these young kids that this degree is going to pay in the real world. And I'm like, this is borderline criminal. Mm-hmm. This 18-year-old kid doesn't know any better. And you're telling them to take out $80,000 in debt for a degree that's not a skill.
They have to do that or they won't have jobs.
Yeah, and that's why. Because if she doesn't get people in her department, then, she's out of a job. But I'm like, dude, in my opinion, like even business degrees, most of them are worthless unless it's accounting.
Unless they're accounting.
But I mean, it's like you're not going to probably do well going to college unless you go into STEM or accounting. I mean, there's probably some other degrees I'm leaving out, but it's a ridiculous thing that you're saddling these kids with debt that they're never going to be able to pay off.
It kind of shocks me. Parents don't even plan for it. It's like, why do you want your kids to be enslaved to debt? And you don't have even to save that much. If you save $100 a month per kid from the time they're born to 18, you could probably cover community college and maybe a 2-year normal university. But parents are just like, oh, whatever. I guess I'll just worry about it when it happens. Bro. And then it happens. They're like, oh, crap. They're 18. What do I do?
Bro, but look what you did. How much did college really cost you when you went back to school for accounting?
College paid me.
I know, but what I'm saying is, what was like the total?
Oh, like the actual tuition?
$7,000, $10,000 maybe.
Oh yeah, it was definitely less than $15,000
for what is
for a master's degree, and I drug it out. Like I probably could have done it for less than $10,000 easy.
And you got a skill. Like my favorite thing that you told me was like, yeah, I quit jobs all the time. And then I have one like a week later because you have a and it's like, okay, so, and then people talk about, well, college should be free. And I go, listen, everything that the government does is a misallocation of capital. Now, some of that is acceptable, but you still need capitalism to pay for it. So now you want the government to take over education. Well, here's what you're going to get. More expensive education and shittier education.
But if we just pay teachers $100K a year, it'll magically solve itself.
Well, dude, I mean, even now at the college level, most classes are taught by adjunct professors who make basically slave wages because they're in debt because they wanted to be an intellectual. It's like the America is just awash in pseudo intellectualism, and
it's a wash in scams. Like a lot of things are just very clever grifts.
Well, you can tell something is just pseudo intellectualism or a scam by how pedantic people's speech becomes. It's like, oh, here, Chris, let me explain to you why education should be free. I want to have a Hegelian dialectic with you about it. And you're just looking at him and you're getting out of here with your Marxist bullshit, dude. You sounds like a bunch of communist gobbledygook.
Yeah, I just call it commie speak. You can kind of like detect the words that they say, and it's like, yeah, it's just commie speak. Don't even listen to it.
Is that an
I work
NFT?
at a CPA firm. The accounting industry is desperate for workers. That's true.
That's an NFT profile picture.
Well, dude, guess who's going back to school for an accounting degree next year?
This guy.
Oh, and the best thing about accounting is, if you want to teach it, you can just tutor it. You don't have to be an adjunct professor, which is like you're 100% right. They get paid like garbage, and you're in this stupid liberal bureaucracy.
Yeah,
I'd rather just go strike out on my own. Like, tell people, hey, I'll tutor you in accounting. Or go on the tutor website. It's so much better.
Bro, there's a bunch of tax accountants around here. So what I'm going to do when I finish, I'm going to blast that degree. I'm just going to do nothing but work on that degree from Western Governors. Then I'm going to go around here to these accountants, and I'm going to be like, I'll work for minimum wage because I already have a job and I'm just working for the skill set.
Yeah, I mean, you could even do H&R Block, dude. Like, you could do anything.
Well, I might do them too for like a year or two, and I could already go and do that. They'd accept me with my finance degree. So all they're going to do is put me through their training.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 ways to get experience, and then all you got to do is once you are having either an EA or a CPA, you just hang up your shingle and you market your business somehow, and then you start getting clients. That's it.
Yeah, but yeah, like accountants are in ridiculous demand now, and it's like they don't, another place, people are they're struggling for people in is the trades, electrician, carpenter, plumber. Like plumbers, I've talked to a couple of guys. Some of them are making $200K a year now.
That's pretty crazy.
That's a lot of money.
I'll stick with accounting though. Let's see. What was that site? Wiseand. So the online tutoring thing died off. So I don't know. Like during the pandemic, money was sloshing everywhere, and there was like unlimited demand. But most of those sites have kind of died off, in my opinion. So I mean, if I ever start tutoring again, it's going to be like directly with people that I find on YouTube. I thought about doing like a little accounting channel, like a separate channel where I just do accounting stuff.
You should
tutoring that way. But I'm so busy, man. I don't know. I got so much to do.
I am gonna head out.
All right, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Goodbye, Cole.
Goodbye, Cole. My Bob Dole.
Yeah, we can go another like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go work out, bro.
Yeah, I don't blame you. No, but I mean, the whole college thing turned into a scam the second the government got involved in it. And it was like, when people went to college in the 1960s and 70s, it's because they were passionate about a subject. Now it's like, oh, you just need to go to college to get your trained monkey working papers.
I would love to see what they're telling kids in school because I'm so far removed from that.
Dude, when I was at USF, it was awful. I would sit there and do the mental math on how much these kids were going to be paying. And I'm like, all these kids are just saddled down with debt, which has another effect, and that's it ruins entrepreneurship. Because now these kids are like, oh, I just got to take whatever to get a job to pay off this debt, instead of going, well, I can take the hit, live below my means, and start my own company.
Yeah. No, once you have a bunch of bills, and you have kids and stuff, it's hard to be entrepreneurial. Yeah. The only way you can do it is if you have a full-time job and you do more work after your full-time job. That's the only way you can do it.
Well, I work with a girl at the hospital, and she's a CNA, and she impresses me because she has her own landscaping business on the side too. And she goes, I go, so why are you working here? Because she was telling me, she goes, I make like 3 times as much or 2 times with my business on the side. She goes, I just work here for the pension and the benefits. And I was like, that's smart.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about a full-time job is the healthcare. The healthcare. The healthcare is the big one. It's like, how do I get affordable healthcare? And if you're self-employed, you're paying the full premium. Yeah,
but I mean, and again, a lot of it is just Marxist gobbledygook that the colleges are putting out anyways.
Yeah, I wonder what they're telling kids in high school, though. I would love to be a fly on the wall and hear what they're saying.
If I was a teacher, I'd be telling these kids to go into the trades. I'd look at a kid and go, listen, man, you really want to work in a stuffy office where you have, basically a bunch of people that want to tell you how to talk, or you could go become an electrician, work at a company for a while, then strike out on your own. You could just have fun at work saying whatever ridiculous shit you wanted to say.
Yeah, the only problem is there's the entire teaching profession is just a bunch of women that don't believe that if you're a teacher, you probably don't have entrepreneurial spirit because you're staying and you're working for the government.
Yeah, well,
to be a
dude,
teacher.
Well, dude, collectivism is a more feminine view on the world.
Oh yeah,
it's about emotion instead of logic, and you have to think about who's drawn to that. Like
soy boys.
Well, back in the day, this was the 90s. We had a principal, and he taught a couple of classes, but this guy was an old school Korean war vet who walked around on a crutch because he got shot in the hip. He was a Marine, got shot in the hip in Korea. And let me tell you something. Assault on students was on the menu with this dude. This dude, if he didn't like what you were saying and you mouthed off, and he was ridiculously strong, you get slapped across the face by this dude, because they still allowed some level of corporal punishment in schools, which I'm now a fan of. That dude,
part of me thinks the kids would just freaking riot. I'd be scared to, discipline some kid or in a class full of rowdy teenagers.
Dude,
they'd probably swarm me.
Bro, dude, trust me, you weren't doing any of that shit with Mr. Feldman. That dude just inspired terror. You take the toughest kid in school, and he would be like, yeah, Mr. Feldman scares the shit out of me, dude. Like, yeah, he'll just look at you, right? With like his weird crooked eye. And I go, and he'd be like, yeah, man, he's just terrifying.
He's like a Mad Eye Moody from Harry Potter.
Yeah, man. And I mean, we had a gym teacher, Mr. Dooling. This dude would grab you by the ear if you were mouthing off in gym class. He'd just walk up to you and grab your ear and twist it and just drag you outside of class. He'd be like, Mr. Jason, why are you disrupting my class today? I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry. He goes, yeah, you need to be. Now get down and give me 20 push-ups. Like,
oh, so you're a troublemaker.
At times.
Yeah.
But no,
yeah, that doesn't fly now. It's all.
I was joking around. I saw him at the retirement of one of our other teachers when I was home in 2022, and I was joking with him. I was like, dude, you remember when you would like grab me by the ear and drag me out of gym class? And he's like, yeah. I go, that was pretty funny. And he goes, yeah, you can't do that now. I go, I know. It's because kids today are weak.
Well, it's the cycle of history. Our country's going to burn down. That's why I'm buying gold. This video is sponsored by Barrick Gold. Get your gold now before the apocalypse.
You and Peter Schiff. Dude,
once I figured him out, it's so obvious now. He's just shilling his gold services.
I can't listen to him anymore. I used to tune into him because he would talk more about economics, and then it became more of like the grift of gold. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude! Every podcast, it's like gold makes a new record high. It's going to break out and be worth. He was saying it's going to go to like 27,000 an ounce. And I go, okay, but that would only happen if there was a melt up in the stock market. Because
that would be terrifying if gold was 27,000.
If you look at what gold trades for, right? You look at what the Dow is, it's usually about like somewhere between gold is like the Dow is usually like 12 to maybe 20 times an ounce of gold. So like, because gold is going to go up due to inflation. But yeah, I can't listen to him anymore because I'm like, dude, I wish you would just talk about economics on here. Talk about the job numbers, talk about what you think's going on in the economy. But no, buy my gold fund. Well, dude, your gold fund has negative returns basically, or a lot of your funds have negative returns since 2013.
I mean, he's trailed his benchmarks, and on top of that, like he charges you a high fee. Well, so there's literally no benefit to it. You might as well, if you want to buy gold or some kind of, whatever he's offering, just find the index equivalent.
Well, he's like, he talks about you need to get into foreign stocks. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just buy the total world market? Or why wouldn't you just buy VXUS?
Because Peter Schiff is actively choosing the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Active fund managers. It's like, dude, you're not going to outperform the index.
It actually scares me because, like, you think about like, some guys managing the money instead of doing an index. Like, they could do one error and it blows up their portfolio.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying to me that my entire portfolio is in some clown's hands. And he can make one rash decision like meat smoker. And you've lost a lot of money.
Bro, again, the best way to do it is just pick an index, S&P 500, VT, VTI, whatever it is. Just make that your core holding and then take a little extra money and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, it's not hard to build wealth. I mean, it's hard in a sense because people are always drawn to finance. Like they need to know what's going on in the market. And that's how you get shaken out of an index is you keep hearing all the fear and you decide to panic sell at a certain point. But the actual, like, if you stick to an easy plan, it's not hard. Take it and take whatever money you have that's extra that you don't need for the long term and just chuck it into a tax advantage account. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, the problem becomes everybody thinks they're a genius in a bull market.
Which we've had for the past 15 years.
Pretty much, dude.
I can't imagine the like I would love to see YouTube finance if we had like a 3-year bear market.
Well, bro,
like, imagine if YouTube was around during the Great Recession.
Oh,
Or like it was popular. YouTube finance was popular back then. It'd be dead. It would totally die off.
well, if you want to get a good base case, right, of what like the S&P 500 is worth, all you need to do is look up the book value and multiply it by 2.85 or 2.88. That's going to be about its historic fair value selling point. So you just look at the difference and it comes out to the S&P at about 3,300. Well, in a bear market, it's going to drop below that because it will get irrationally undervalued.
I can't wait for the panic. Oh, it's going to be so glorious to see all these clowns because they have higher beta stocks than the index. So if the index drops 40%, their stocks are going 60, 70%. It would be hilarious just to see the absolute panic on their faces. Sell, oh my God.
Well, yeah, meet Kevin. I mean, he tells you he's a long-term investor and then he just like sells Tesla, rebuys it.
Dude, it's laughable. He's a trader and you should judge him based on his trades. And if he doesn't do well on trades, you should hammer him for it because that's what he's offering.
Yeah.
So, but all right, man, I'm going to go for a run. I got some stuff to do. Good stream. I'm glad you're alive.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I survived. We got wind gusts like 85. So
Jesus, dude. Yeah, it's like clear skies here. It's beautiful days. We basically missed the whole thing except for a little bit of rain.
yeah, it's gearing up to be a pretty nice day here too. But look, can I really complain? No, because the worst thing that happened to me is I lost power for 2 days.
But then
It's what it is. It sucked.
Hot?
Huh?
Weren't you hot?
Oh, bro, trying to sleep. Like yesterday, I had to take a nap once the power came back on because I was just tired because I didn't sleep very well the night before. This is like 85 degrees in my house. I'm sitting there, in my boxers on my bed with no blanket, sweating.
God, I can't imagine having like infants in the house. People are probably freaking out, man. But all right, let's do an outro. And then thanks for tuning in, everybody, and have a wonderful, delicious Sunday. Cheers! Jeremy.